Have you ever asked yourself what makes life worth living? Socrates, the ancient Greek philosopher and founder of Western philosophy, did just that. Socrates expressed that the unexamined life is not worth living. Quite an emphatic statement. But what did he mean? And should we take him at face value? This painting behind me by Jacques-Louis David depicts the death of Socrates. Socrates was found guilty of corrupting the youth of Athens by getting them to think about their decisions using reason. Socrates could have chosen exile as a punishment, but instead chose death. Clearly, he's willing to stand by the statement. Now, in our modern world, it's unlikely that any of us will have to face such a severe decision, but we should think carefully about how we go about leading our lives. Socrates' statement was a challenge to all of us to lead a life guided by reason. I would like to talk about why we should do that, how we should do that, and the consequences of not doing that. Whether we realize it or not, every day we are required to make decisions about how we go about living our lives. We make choices about the company we keep. We make choices in how we interact with others. We make choices in how we spend our time, choices in what we say, how we spend our money, how we raise our children, what work we do. Really, when you think about it, the actions we take in regulating our lives as human beings usually involve choices. The question to ask ourselves is, will we make those choices using our capacity to reason? Or will we whimsically be directed by emotions without any real conscious thought invested in our decisions? This capacity to reason, this ability to carefully consider our actions, that is what is truly special and unique about our species. It seems to me, as it did to Socrates, that to function well as a human being is to leverage this faculty to its utmost capability. In doing so, we will cultivate a life in which we can flourish and be happy. We can lead the examined life. In not doing so, we will lead a life that is unexamined, in which happiness and flourishing is in jeopardy. So what exactly does it mean to reason? What does it look like? What does it constitute? And most importantly, what is its outcome? Well, at its most fundamental, reason is the power of our minds to think, to understand, and to form judgments using logic. What happens is that over time, if we continuously make use of reason in making choices, we start to develop what's called a philosophy of life. We start to develop a set of values that can be leveraged in the decisions that we must make throughout the entirety of our lives. In essence, what we are engaging in is the practice of philosophy. Philosophy is the love of wisdom. And in taking a philosophical approach to life, what we are doing is adopting a strategy that uses logic to seek out wisdom so that we can achieve this happiness and flourishing. Unfortunately, the reality is that most people do not consciously make efforts to use reason in establishing a set of values that guide their lives. How do we know this? Well, if you find yourself in the presence of someone who holds a strong belief or opinion, try asking them why they hold that opinion. You might be surprised to discover that more often than not, the answers are very unsatisfactory. More often than not, you will find that strongly held beliefs are not really grounded on sound reasoning. Rather, you'll find that people claim their beliefs and opinions to be obvious, self-evident, common sense. The other thing that you'll discover if opinions aren't founded on a clear philosophy of life is that you'll find inconsistencies and contradictions. And that's the problem with leading an unexamined life. You live a life founded on unwarranted conclusions, the whimsical life, a life founded on mere chance. Surely there's a better system for developing a satisfactory life that is filled with happiness. It's the system of using reason in the development of your philosophy of life. And so, that is what Socrates proposed the examined life would have to offer us. In choosing to live a life founded on reason, in choosing to use that reasoning to develop a well-supported system of values, and in choosing to dismiss the whimsical life, we give ourselves the best possibility at living a life that is founded on a consistent set of principles. A set of principles that we can leverage to get the most satisfaction and enjoyment out of life. A life worth living.